given to us by the Lord. Let's get it going. We got some good information for you today. I want to talk about things that we did talk about last week. One that's been staying around is House Bill 1972, which is going to give us the right to carry handguns in the streets of Texas, any streets in Texas. Now, with that, that's going to be something new because, they had the concealed carry thing, and that's been going on for about 20 years now. So now concealed carry is not going to mean a thing. I mean, you're going to be able to carry, and I'm thinking that businesses will have the right to tell you not to come in their establishment with a handgun displayed. That's normally how it works. It'll be left up to the individual facility or the individual employer to tell you if if you can or if you can't bring that weapon onto their premises. And as citizens of this country, we have to abide by what a person says about their business or their home or, their area. If it belongs to somebody, they have a right to tell you not to bring a firearm onto their premises. So that's it passed already. I mean, it's awaiting the governor's signature. So once the governor sign it, I mean, the law will probably usually come into effect on the fiscal year, which is 1 September. That's the beginning of it. So we kind of thinking that the beginning of the year will be either 1 September this year or 1 September next year. We'll find out. But sooner or later, this thing is going to happen. Also, we talked about the Juneteenth celebration. Juneteenth celebration is such a big thing here in the state of Texas, and a lot of times people don't really understand the premises behind Juneteenth. I mean, when the Emancipation Proclamation was passed, um, slaves were free everywhere in this country except for Texas. So around a few months later, one of the generals went down to Corpus Christi and made the announcement, making it official in the state of Texas, and that's one of the beginning points of Juneteenth. I don't have the entire story, but I do know about it, and I would hope that each of you learn and about this story and be able to talk about it on this upcoming Juneteenth. We know that there's an election runoff, and Jalen and Jada, they we always talking about District Two because I love District Two, and that's where I'm at, and I have my business here, and we're doing our thing. Also, there was some problems talked about with the preachers saying that telling the congregations not to vote for Jalen. I mean, either way you look at it, preachers should not be in politics. I mean, that's something that they should not bring to the pulpit. And but if you notice over the last several years, starting with Donald Trump, that it has not been a problem for pulpits to get into politics and start talking about preachers or start talking about elected officials. Uh, if We don't know, the preachers that they said made those comments have denied saying that they made it, but you know how it goes. Some of you were sitting in church when it allegedly happened, so you know. Um, like I said, we have Jalen and Jada. Now, consistency has always been one thing for me, and I learned consistency always wins. Jada has been consistent. She's been in the seat for 2 years now during a pandemic, so you really can't expect the miracles that you would expect if nobody was in there. I mean, if there was no pandemic. But being that there was a pandemic, which is slowly going away right now, you can probably see some real work getting done. Who's to say something's wrong with what's going on in District Two right now? Consistency would be 2 more years, but also Jalen is a qualified individual. But you kind of got to take a look at what his resume, and you got to see if he's been on the streets of the East Side and District Two. I hope so. You know, I haven't seen him here. He hadn't been to Smitty's or Casa de Smitty's, our sponsor. So if he's listening, I would love to see him pop in and just say hi. That would be nice. You know, if he wins, congratulate him. If Jada wins, I'll congratulate her. I mean, whoever is in the seat, they're there to serve their constituents in District 2. Enough on that. Juneteenth celebration at Comanche Park. Make sure you go out and hear some Kenny Wayne. He's the star attraction. You're going to see the flotillas out there with the fish. I'm sure other people, other vendors will be out there with food for you. Should be a good day of festivities. So don't hesitate to stop by Comanche Park. It's a free event. At the end of that event, though, Kenny Wayne will be popping into Smitty's, Casa de Smitty's over here. So if you really want to get to meet the entertainer, come on over and say something to him. I'm sure he'll sit down and have a good conversation with you. Today's story is just about things not honoring and not giving full due and full recognition for. First of all, let's talk about Simone Biles. Simone Biles did what they call a Yocherico double pike. Whatever that is, it is one move that no one in the world has ever done before. She did it at 24 years old. She did this move like no one else. No one else has done it. She's the GOAT. She's the greatest of all time in gymnastics. But people don't want to give her just due. She received a 6.6 mark out of 10 for completing the most difficult move in gymnastics. That is totally wrong. I mean, I don't care how good we are in America, we got to be better because nothing that we do is good enough. I mean, if you complete something like Simone Biles did, I don't see why you can't get the credibility and the kudos that you deserve for doing such a wonderful and a rare thing. She's the GOAT. And that's the way we need to remember her and keep talking about her because she is the greatest of all time in gymnastics. This is a powerful young lady who does a great job in gymnastics. Don't tell me, San Antonio, that we can't stop some of these shootings in our streets. There's a lot of shootings going on. A lot right now. 7 shootings in 48 hours and then some. You know, a lot of people are angry right now. A lot of people got pissed off because the COVID locked them down, made them lose their jobs, and they're getting evicted. It's just a lot of junk happening to good people in this day and time. And it ain't a whole lot you can do about it. But the first steps we have to take is to do something as a city to show that we care. I mean, I know that San Antonio done gave $11 million in rent and utilities subsistence, but there's other things you can do. You can get these police out of the cars. I watch all day long 30 police cars driving up and down Houston Street, and they ain't got time to stop and say hi to nobody. They need to get out of these cars and walk the beat sometime. That's been the problem. And most of these guys are from other neighborhoods. They're not from the east side, so they don't want to know what's going on over here. I mean, the only time they want to stop and talk to people is if they get a call or if they see something going on that they don't like. Now, I want to talk about a place called Newark, New Jersey. This is why I say you can't tell me that it can't be done, that we can't stop shootings. Newark, New Jersey went an entire year with 1 police shooting. They fired one gun in a whole year. This is the entire police force for a big city. How did they do this? They did it now. How did they do it? They moved social workers to the street. That's what they did. They took some of the money out of the police budget and placed it in social workers and put them in the street and had them start talking to people, going door to door, introducing themselves, seeing what type of lifestyle these people are living. That's the only way we're going to know what's going on. That's how we got to know. What's up, Joe Ring? Good to see you, my cuz. I'm glad I'm being seen all the way in Mississippi. It's just something to smile about. They did forced diversity. In other words, they went out and recruited people from the neighborhoods that they had the most trouble in to become part of city staffs. I mean, if you look at the diversity here in San Antonio, it's not right. I mean, you can go walk down to City Hall, you might see one black, maybe two, if you're lucky. And then they're probably from another city or somewhere else visiting here, or just they're here to do some lawyer work or something. The city does not employ black people enough. And I know there are more qualified black people than there are working in this city right now. You know, that's something that requires a top down process where the leaders have to get involved and find out. They got to go out and seek out these people. And I know people are applying for these jobs. Sometimes you get complacent because you've been denied so many times as a black person that you don't want to put your foot in the door anymore. You're just done. You throw your hands up in the air and wave them like you just don't care no more. You're done because you've been denied. Every time you put your hand up, every time you put your foot in the door, you're still denied. Every time you get a degree here and a degree there, you're still denied. That's something that we got to get away from. If we can get our top level managers and business owners and corporate owners to get out of the corporations and look lower and bring us up higher. You know, we've been in this country since its inception, and some before its inception. But we have been the worst treated race of people ever in the United States of America. People coming from Scotland and Germany and England and everywhere else in Japan and China got better respect in this country than black people. In my hometown of Inverness, Mississippi, there used to be a school there. You know, black people couldn't go to that school. Black people could not attend that school. But they let the Chinese, because you know, in all these little towns, the Chinese come in and they open up these little stores and they become part of the fabric of our cities. They're the ones who make all the black folks money because they offer the product that we need to survive. But the worst part about that is when you see the Chinese and the Orientals going to the white schools. But the black people can't set foot over there unless you cleaning up the toilets or cleaning the bathrooms or you a janitor or a cook. You ain't sitting in there getting no lesson. Ain't no child, no black child in that school. So I grew up watching this school. They had a pool at the high school or elementary school. So the state mandated that they admit everybody into that school. What did they do? They closed the school down. They shut the damn door. And years later, they tore the building down. So before they would allow a black person to attend that school, they closed it down and tore it down. That's how sad it is living in this country sometimes. There are still places where you still got to say yassa and you got to put your eyeballs on the ground because you can't look the white man in his eyes or you're violating. You can get locked up for doing that in some of these places in this country. You got sundown towns. You want to know what a sundown town is? Be black and be in that town. You'll find out. They don't want black people in those towns after dark. They still exist. The city of San Antonio will sooner or later get the message that they need to deploy street teams. They need to deploy social workers, police officers, community activists, preachers, all on a team and send them out into the neighborhood where these incidents and these shootings are occurring. The county formed this thing under the district attorney's office, the Civil Rights Commission, I don't know what it was, but that's all you heard about is that it was formed, but you haven't seen a damn thing done by this commission. You know, it's been a year since George Floyd was murdered in the streets. And we haven't done a single thing here in San Antonio to make a difference, knowing that we were wrong, we were dead wrong, or we are dead wrong in many of the ways that we conduct our business concerning black people. There was a shooting at the 200 block of Noblewood, Albany Home Apartments. There was another shooting at the Antioch Village, Upland Drive.